guys, it's Paradise, and are you looking for a new game to sink hours into and one you can play with friends too? Well, Borderlands 4 is right around the corner with a release date of September 12th, and it just dropped a bunch of reveals about what we can do after the main story is over. Not only that, we also got details on how the game will be supported after launch, plus a tease for the 5th Vault Hunter, so yeah, there's plenty of spicy stuff to go through. So we thought we would take all of the time that we spent learning this and all the new things we discovered and make it into one concise video for you. So let's get into the cool stuff. Now, one of the big things about Borderlands is that it doesn't stop when the credits roll. The endgame is all about pushing your build and chasing the best loot, and now for Borderlands 4 they've revealed they have expanded the endgame systems, so you now have weekly challenge missions, new specializations, and the ultimate Vault Hunter mode, which if you have played Borderlands 3 is like this game's version of Borderlands 3's Mayhem mode, where you could fine-tune the difficulty of each individual activity with higher levels rewarding higher quality drops more often. So the endgame has been completely reworked. You unlock the ultimate Vault Hunter mode once you finish the main campaign, and from there is when you can start the real grind. Each level of this mode will make enemies hit way harder, they'll have bigger health bars, and they can even roll with modifiers like elemental resistances similar to in Borderlands 3. As mentioned, the upside is that the loot and rewards scale with the challenge, so you're farming gear that you can actually keep and you'll be earning more XP, cash, and Iridium. It's worth noting as well that certain drops in the old Borderlands games were also restricted to higher levels as well. The cool thing now though is that instead of forcing you to replay the whole story again, it's now built as more of a climb. There are 5 levels to work through, and each one unlocks by completing challenges across Kairos, with the challenges being something like defeating certain mobs in the area. Once you've done enough, you'll then face a wildcard mission, which is basically a mission remixed with juiced up enemies and new traits. Once you've beaten that chaos, it will unlock the next level, and the whole loop just keeps feeding into making your Vault Hunter even stronger. Something else the devs revealed are weekly wildcards. These are weekly boss fights with guaranteed legendary rewards. Now this is awesome and kind of reminds us of Nightfalls from Destiny, where the community has a set boss to take out. And another thing similar to Destiny is the return of Morris's black market machine that hides rare loot across Kairos. You can think of this kind of like Xur, but unlike Xur, this machine won't have a set loot selection for everyone, instead it will be instanced for each player. It may seem weird, but the devs have said that they want players to invite their friends to their world to check out any cool stuff that it has. Now personally, I would have preferred if it was set loot so that we could have more of a community experience, but we'll have to see how this version turns out. On top of that, there's Moxxi's big Encore, which will boost one boss a week for higher drop rates, but we'll get more into the details on that in a little bit. Because another cool thing they've added as well is that if you finish the story, you can actually skip right to the end game on a new character. So if you're like us and don't know exactly which character you want to commit to in the end game, this means you can pick one of the characters to play through the main story, and then if you aren't feeling that character anymore, you can simply skip the campaign on another save with a different Vault Hunter. This skip will boost you instantly to level 30, but remember level 50 is the max, meaning you can get right into the endgame post-story content with those new characters instead, and you can start leveling them up and farming them out with high-end loot. To be honest, this is a very cool and welcome addition to the game. I'm so glad they added this. Now talking about loot farming, in Borderlands 4 they've actually made it less of a grind to farm specific gear. The devs have said instead of sitting in the same spot killing the same boss on repeat, you'll be pushed across Kairos with dedicated loot drops tied to different enemies. It means you've got more variety and you actually know where to go for the item you want. Boss hunting is also tied into contracts now, which will reward you with Iridium. This is the endgame currency, and you'll be using it for that endgame stuff like respeccing your specialization tree or firing up Moxxi's big Encore machine. If you want to know more about what this Encore machine is, it's one of our favorite new additions. To be honest, it looks like this Encore machine will be a proper lifesaver for any farming. Rather than quitting out and reloading the game every time you want to refight a boss, instead you can just spend some Iridium and spawn the boss again to fight them. Previously in Borderlands 3, you had to physically revert your save each time, which got really annoying, especially if you were playing in a group, so this will make farming a lot smoother and a lot more enjoyable. The game also adds and expands on several different systems which can enhance your build. This time around, the devs want you to retain the gear that you enjoy even as you go up in the difficulties and into the endgame curve. So they're introducing 2 new systems to ensure that your gear can remain viable. The first is Firmware, which is new to the series and basically works like gear sets. Each piece comes with set bonuses, and depending on how many you equip, you'll unlock different effects. With one piece you can get a minor bonus, 2 pieces you get a major bonus, and 3 pieces unlocks the full set bonus. The early tiers are usually simple buffs like extra ordnance damage or faster action skill cooldowns, but the full bonus is where things get wild, with stuff like missile strikes raining down or lifesteal when your health dips. Take the Deadeye Firmware as an example. If you're wearing all 3 pieces shown by the 3 out of 3 in the menu, you'll get plus 30% gun accuracy at level 1, 25% critical damage on level 2, and then every crit you land will add another 15% critical damage per stack for 10 seconds, up to 5 stacks on level 3. In practice, this means if you're consistently landing crits, your damage just keeps snowballing higher and higher, which is a massive damage increase to your build. Something to note is that Firmware doesn't show up on your guns though. Instead, it's tied to things like rep kits, ordnance, class mods, shields, and enhancements. This means you can only equip 5 firmware pieces in total, which makes your build choice way more interesting. So should we be stacking 3 pieces of the same type to get a full bonus, or mix and matching things for a variety of smaller buffs? Well, once you finish the campaign, you can even transfer firmware between items using a transfer machine. But there is a catch: the item that you pull it from gets destroyed, and the target item will lose whatever firmware it already had. The devs have also said that firmware will start dropping around level 25, so by the time you hit the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, you'll already be grinding for those top tier sets that only drop there. After you beat the main story in Borderlands 4, you also unlock a new progression system called Specializations. If you've played Borderlands 2's Badass ranks or Guardian ranks in 3, think of it kind of like that but more streamlined. Basically, it's an account-wide XP bar that keeps leveling up the more you play, and each level gives you buffs that slowly stack up into big upgrades for your build. You start with 4 basic nodes with things like more health, stronger shields, or extra gun damage, but as you invest points into those, you unlock passive specialization skills that you can slot into sockets. At first, you only get 1 socket, but over time you unlock up to 4, giving you a bit more flexibility to customize your setup. The big chase here, though, is going to be the prestige nodes. These are powerful bonuses that you can only unlock by putting enough points into a specific basic node. For example, the Gadgeteer Prestige node that buffs your ordnance only unlocks if you've invested at least 10 points into both Survivor and Brute. Hitting Prestige nodes and slotting them into your build will give you a big bump in power, but you can also respec at any time, or even leave sockets empty if you want to dial things back for a challenge on a new character. So this is a really nice rework of the Guardian rank system, and we're looking forward to trying it out and seeing how it actually plays out. Now, looking to the future, Borderlands 4 does have a ton of content coming post-launch. You can already tell that they're ready to release this game, as Gearbox already has a mixture of free updates and paid DLC lined up. The 2 main types of paid expansions are story packs and bounty packs, each offering different kinds of content. The first story pack is called Mad Ellie and the Vault of the Damned, which brings back the fan favorite Ellie in a darker, cosmic horror-themed adventure. The devs say that you'll be exploring a brand new region of Kairos, tackling main and side missions, and getting your hands on new legendary loot. This pack even introduces the first post-launch playable Vault Hunter, along with cosmetic options like Vault Hunter skins, vehicle skins, and new Echo 4 customization. Now, we don't know much about the new Vault Hunter, but if we zoom in on the image, you can see that it looks to be wearing some type of hat, and so people in the community are speculating it could be a wizard or a cowboy. However, Randy did give a hint that the character has a lot up their sleeves, leaning towards most people believe it's some type of magic user. Next though, we have bounty packs. These are smaller but are still narrative driven. They expand on characters you meet in the main game, starting with Rush, and each pack will add new missions, a fresh boss fight, new legendaries, and cosmetics like player skins and vehicles. You'll also get a vault card packed with 24 cosmetics and 4 pieces of rerollable gear to chase. For everyone that's lining up for the free events and updates though, there's seasonal mini events kicking off in October with Horrors of Kairos, which drops new legendary weapons, cosmetics, and even a new weather variation. Invincible Bosses will also roll out over time, each with their own arena that ties into new traversal mechanics, so beating them won't be easy, but the rewards are some of the most powerful loot in the game. Plus, each new Invincible boss will bring a new level for the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, which will hopefully keep the endgame grind truly alive. Another thing a lot of people are excited about is that Borderlands 4 is bringing back Pearlescents. These are making a return in a free update alongside Bounty Pack 2 in early 2026. Just like before, they're going to be ridiculously rare to find, probably being less than a 0.1% chance, but if you manage to get your hands on one, the power level should hopefully match the grind, as it will be some of the strongest gear in the game. All in all, Borderlands 4 is sounding very exciting, and the closer we're getting to launch, the more hyped we're getting. So don't forget to subscribe down below and drop a like so you can stay up to date on everything Borderlands 4, because we've got you covered here. Here at Arix Gaming, we're two friends who love to play games. You have me, Paradise, as well as 26.
Our goal is to keep the videos as concise as possible by cutting out any of the fluff and focusing on what really matters with high quality videos.
So make sure you're subscribed down below for more videos on your favorite games coming very, very soon.